Greetings, everyone. I am Pete Pardo from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to day 2 of albums that are 40 years old in 2023 as we look back on another great year in music. 1983, we picked out our 21 favorite albums from 1983 because we got 28 days of February. And we are going to wish these albums a happy 40th birthday or their 40th anniversary, however you like to look at it, and just celebrate some more great music from a great year, this being 1983. So today we're going to look at an 11th studio album from a band that released this record on November 11th, 1983. It was recorded at SARM and AIR Studios in London, England, produced by Trevor Horn and the band for Atco Records. Of course, I'm talking about 90125 by the reconfigured, reconstituted, rejigged Yes, right? Which originally was not even going to be called Yes, those of you recall. Yes, after the Drama album basically broke up, right? And Drama was itself a new lineup of Yes, without John Anderson, without Rick Wakeman, with the Buggles in tow, joining Steve Howe, Chris Squire, and Alan White. And after that album and tour, the band kind of imploded once again. And here we were left with, Alan White and Chris Squire trying out some things, right? They played with Jimmy Page for a while. They eventually, that didn't really work out, and they kind of got in touch with a guy named Trevor Rabin, South African vocalist, guitarist, songwriter, and keyboard player, right? They started making some music. Then John Anderson got involved, and then eventually we had Mr. Tony Kaye. He got involved as well. Then Tony Kaye was out for a bit, and then Eddie Jobson came in for a bit. Eddie, of course, with UK and Jethro Tull and Roxy Music and Frank Zappa and Curved Air and whatnot. And then Tony Kaye came. They convinced Tony Kaye to come back, and then Eddie left. And basically what you had, which again was originally not going to be called Yes, they were using names like Cinema and a couple of ideas. The record label decided, well, if all you guys are working together, John Anderson's back, it would make more sense to call it Yes, and 90125 came about. So again, you've got on the album, you've got Chris Squire on bass and backing vocals. You've got John Anderson on lead vocals. You've got Trevor Rabin on lead vocals, guitars, and depending on what you read, the bulk of the keyboards on the album. I mean, the kind of the whole thing about this album is that I think the Trevor Horn and the record label really wanted it to have a modern sound. And Tony Kaye is mainly like a Hammond organ player and plays some piano. He's not a synthesizer guy, so if you know this album pretty well, there are a lot of synths on this album and a lot of different uses of different types of more modern keyboards and electronics at the time. So Trevor Rabin handled the bulk of that. Tony Kaye added Hammond organ and some piano, right? You got Alan White, of course, on drums, percussion, and backing vocals. And 90125 is the result. I mean, this is a very different Yes. This was a Yes for a new generation. And as it turns out, this was the biggest selling album in the Yes catalog. I mean, this debuted, went to number 5 on the Billboard charts. As far as certifications go, this was a 3 million times platinum, or 3 times platinum in the States, 3 million copies. Gold in the UK, double platinum in New Zealand, gold in Netherlands, platinum in Japan, platinum in Italy, platinum in Germany, gold in France, 2 times platinum in Canada, gold in Austria, 2 times platinum in Australia, and gold in Argentina. So that's pretty lofty ranking. It was, like I said, number 5 Billboard charts, made it to number 16 in the UK. In Canada was a number 3 album. Charted pretty high, top 25 in most of the other territories that I mentioned before. And as far as the songs, we've got some, Owner of a Lonely Heart, which kicks off the album, was a massive song for them. That was the big hit off the album. Very different from Yes. I remember going back a ways, so many like classic Yes heads from the 70s, heard this album and they were like, oh, what is this? This is not the Yes I know and love. No, but did it turn the band onto a legion of new fans? For sure. Hold On, catchy, great hook on the chorus. It Can Happen, very clever song. It Can Happen is one of my favorite tracks on the album. Great chorus on that. Changes is my favorite song on the album. And that, of course, is sung by mostly Trevor Rabin. You got John Anderson singing on that as well. I think they worked really well together, utilizing both voices on this album. Changes is great. It's the heaviest song on the album. And it's just very mystical sounding and just ominous and quite proggy, still pretty hard rocking. Cinema is an amazing instrumental. I believe it won a Grammy Award or was nominated for a Grammy Award. And that is, I almost wish that was longer. Very, very cool stuff on that. Leave It is perhaps the quirkiest song on the album with these great, Trevor Horn did an amazing job of producing this particular song. You got all these a cappella vocals going all over the place. Really, really fun song. Then you have Our Song. City of Love is another kind of plodding, heavy riff song. And then the wonderfully melodic Heart. So again, is there any Heart of the Sunrise, Roundabout, that sort of thing on this album? Of course not. There's no Starship Trooper here. This is not that kind of thing. This is Yes for the 80s, 1983 as a matter of fact, and it still holds up pretty well. I don't listen to this. I listened to this a lot back in the day, and especially in the 90s. I really was heavily into this album in the early, mid-90s. But it still has its charm as a different era for Yes. It's kind of like the weird era, right? Because you got the 70s, then the albums they produced in the 80s, then the 90s went off into different directions in the 2000s, right? So, but each kind of decade in the history of Yes has like a different flavor. And the Trevor Rabin albums definitely sound different than all the rest. Great guitar player, though. He was just, and still is, a tremendous, tremendous talent and added a lot to this band, I think. So, there you have it. Day 2, 90125 from Yes. Let us know what you think of this album down in the comments below, as well as your pick for Day 2 here as we talk about our 28 favorites from 1983, celebrating another great year in music. Tune in tomorrow for Day 3. Till then, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Stay tuned. We've got coming up here on the channel, we've got the Monster Stand returning this week. We are going to be ranking the film series Final Destination for all of you who like seeing young people getting killed in all sorts of exciting and eye-popping ways. That's basically the whole gist of these films. They're a lot of fun, but they are kind of one-dimensional. But we'll be talking about those tonight on the Monsters Den, so stay tuned for that and lots more. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we've got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page where you can get all sorts of great Sea of Tranquility stuff to wear out in the wild, show off, and spread the word of the channel. So thank you very much, everybody. Till tomorrow, for Day 3, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good one. Bye-bye.